Uh, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So I think let's start our today's lesson. Okay. So next we talk about Kotlin programming language, right? Kotlin programming language is used to design the Android app. Okay. So we need to basically understand the syntax when we write the Kotlin the program. Okay. And the last we introduce the uh, basic idea about how to write the Kotlin the code. For example, like how to declare the variable and how to write the function and the supported data type, right? And in today's lesson, we briefly introduce the class and inheritance. Okay, how to define a class using the Kotlin the code. Okay, because Kotlin the language is also the object-oriented programming language. So Kotlin support the class. Okay, so basically, we use a keyword class to define a certain class, okay, and followed by the class name and the curly brace. In this body, we provide the property declaration and the member function the definition. Okay, so the simple example is just like this one. We define the person is a new class, and the person contains the one property, and the property is a name. And here we give the default value, and the short name is a method function. Okay, no parameter, and the string is the return data type. Okay, so the major the function body is return the name, return the only the property. Okay, so having the class definition, we can create a person object by using the class name. Okay, so we can call the person and the parentheses. Okay, use this way to create a person object. Okay, for any other object-oriented programming language, when we create an object, we need to call the constructor to construct an object, right? And just remember how to define the class in the Java, okay? Java or the C++, you can define different constructor. You can several constructor, and this constructor may have different with different number of parameter. Okay, we will show the later. Even in Kotlin, the constructor can be primary constructor or the secondary the constructor. Okay, so maybe let's show how to define a class in the website. Okay, we use a web page to really write the Kotlin the code. Okay, so let me open the Safari the browser. Okay, so here we can test all the Kotlin the code. Okay, so here we have the main function, and outside the main function we can define our the class. For example, I want to define the person the class. Okay, and the person having the one property. Okay, and the property is name. Okay, let's show what we have name, the string. Okay. In this way, mean okay, so here, suppose we have person the class definition. Having a definition, we can create a person object. Okay, simply we can show the. For example, I have the variable simply x. Okay, is equal to person. Okay, I want to create a person object. Okay, because in my class definition, I provide the parameter. You need this way something like the function the parameter. So here we need to pass the parameter. For example, I pass the rubber. Okay, so what's the rubber? Rubber is the argument passed to the underlying the name. Name is our parameter. Okay, so after we pass the rubber into the class, we need to store the value into one of property. Okay, suppose the property is name. Okay, and the default value is name. Okay, so what's the meaning? This means I want to create a person and pass the rubber. So the underlying name would be rubber, right? And we assigned the underlined name to the name. So the name here is one of the property for the person. Okay, so we can try to print line. X is a person, right? We can display the name. Okay, so let's try to run our program code. Okay, you can show here. We just displayed that's the person X having the name Robert. That's correct, right? So let's provide the method function. Okay, so just like the example here, I define the function that's show the name. Okay, and the function will return the string data type. Okay, and then we will return name. Okay, return the name. So here we can use the X to hold the method function, show the name. Okay, so that's the method function code. Let's run the app, run the program. So we display the rubber. Okay, maybe I delete the hello world. Okay. Okay, so in this case, person having one property. Okay, and using this way, that's called the primary constructor. Okay, so when we want to create a person, we need to pass one value. This value is for this parameter, and this parameter also will be assigned to the named property. Okay, so that's called how to initiate a person object. Okay, here I try to change my code. Okay, suppose here I just declare name is a string type. Okay, so here I only the short name is a string type, and without giving the initial value. So when we create the person, the rubber cannot be assigned to the name, right? So here we need to provide a code block to assign the underlying name to name. Okay, in Kotlin we use init. Init the program block. Okay, here we say the name is equal to name. Okay, So what's the meaning? This means here, I only declare name is a string type without initial value, okay? And here, when we create a person, we pass Robert to the underlying name, okay? So far, the person object, this property don't have any value. So in the class definition, we need to provide the initialization the code to set the value to each property. So here we use a init. Okay, using this way, try to initialize a certain property. So init, we can write a complex program code to do the more the checking and do more the thing here. Okay, so just remember we have two ways. Either we directly assign the value to the property, or we write the init the code block to do the initialization. Okay, so that's we have two way. Okay, here in Kotlin we can use more convenient way to create an object. Here I just show another version. Okay, in Mac computer, if you want to copy paste, okay, we use a Command C, okay, not Control C, Control V, okay. In Mac computer, we need to use Command, okay. On your keyboard, you have we have the Command functional key, Command C, the Command V, okay. So here, suppose I want to define another second version, person 2, okay. Here, I use another way, okay. Here I use fail, okay. So you can see the difference. In the first version, I text the parameter. So underlying name is not the actual property. OK， 这个 underlying name 并不是一个这个 class 的一个属性呢。However, in the second version, when we call the constructor, we directly assign the value to our property. So here, we the parameter name becomes the name, not this one, not this one. Okay, and also the leading the we need to add the VAL or the VAR. Okay, just like we combine this line and combine this line together. Okay, we use this way. Okay, let's try to, for example, let's try to create a second person, that's y. Then 2, okay? Alice. Okay, so let me print y that show the name. Okay, let's test this code can work successfully. Let's run this code. You can see here, Robert and Alice. Okay, so remember, that's more the easy way to declare our class. Just follow the class name. Inside the parentheses, we show our list of parameter. Also, this parameter will become the property 啊，列在括号里面的参数，通通都会变成 class 里面的 property. Okay, so the parameter name will also become the property of this class. Okay. Here, I show the second version. Okay. Here, suppose the person not only contain the name, but also the age. Okay, so I want to here to show person 3 has another property. Okay, suppose the property is VAR, mean this property, the value for this property can be changed later. Okay, VAL mean value, that's read only, var called variable, it can be changed any time. Okay, so we have another property called the age, and the data type is int. Okay, so person3 has two the property, name and the age. So here, suppose I want to create another variable z. Okay, it's person3. Okay, because here we have two property, so we need to provide. Okay, suppose that's John, and age is, for example, that's 40. Okay, let's show what we can display the z. Show the name. Okay, let's try to run the program. Okay, you can show here we have the three person with different name, right? So in this example, person 3, we say person 3 has two property. One is the name, one is the age, right? So here I want to create the person 3 object. We need to pass to the value to this to the property. Okay. Suppose here I show another variance to the person 3. Suppose I have P, that's person 3. LS. Okay. Suppose here I want to construct person 3. I only pass the name and without the age, and I want to let the age having the default value. So this means for person 3, I need to have two constructor. One constructor is having the two parameter, right? And another constructor only have one parameter. Okay, so for this case, that's called we need to create the second constructor. Okay, so here, having name and the age, that means that's also the primary constructor. So here I want to create the second constructor. So how do we construct the second constructor? The keyword using the constructor, C-O-N-S. Okay, we need to use a constructor. Okay, I want to provide the secondary constructor, and here we only need to pass the name. Okay, so that's string. Okay, just for this case, I want to create person 3. I only pass the Alex, only tell you the name without the age. Because person 3 need to have the value for the age. So this means we need to set the initial value for the age. So that's our secondary constructor. We can call the primary constructor. So how do we call the primary constructor? We use the this name and 0. Okay. So what's the meaning for this statement? This statement says person 3, we have the secondary constructor. And for this constructor, we only need to pass the name without the age. However, age is still the property for the person 3. So we still need to give the value. So for this case, we just call the primary constructor. Okay, so this way means the secondary constructor, after setting the name, we also need to call the primary constructor, just like this case. Okay. This is called, this way we call the primary constructor. Okay, so you can see here, when we call the primary constructor, the age becomes 0. Okay, so this means we only provide the name without the age. And in this class, we will say the age will set to the 0. Okay, so maybe we can try to print key.age. Okay, let's make sure the age for the P will become the 0. Okay, let's run the code. Oh, sorry, print line. Okay, you can see the age is 0, 0. Okay, so that's called provides a secondary constructor. Okay, so for any class, you can implement the primary constructor here using this way. Okay, primary constructor, and using this way to create the secondary constructor. Okay, and also you can actually create more second constructor. For example, maybe here. You can say you can construct person 3 without passing any value, and the name will become empty, and the age is 0, right? That's also correct. Okay, so this means we have 2 secondary constructor. Okay. Okay, so that's about how to define the class in Kotlin. Okay, let's go back to our slide. Okay, so here we mentioned about primary constructor and the secondary constructor. Okay, and the init block. Okay, for initialization, and along the class definition in the parameter, we also show declare some parameter become also directly become the parameter. Okay, we're using become the property. Okay, we're using this format. Okay, so here I show another example about getter and the sector. Okay, getter and the sector is for the uh, uh, for the for the safety of your code. Okay, remember for object programming language, some information will be hidden in the class. Okay, 有的资料会被藏起来。So how do we access the data more in more safe way? We can call the getter and the sector. Getter means I want to get the value of one property. Sector means I want to give a new value to our property. Okay, we cannot directly, for example, we don't allow the user to directly touch the value for a certain property. The only way you need to access or update is through the function call. Okay, this function is called the getter and the setter. Okay, maybe I try to write a program code for the person the case. Okay, so here I show the program code. Okay, support here I define the another version for the person. Okay, that's person 4. Okay, person 4. Okay, for easily explain what's the getter and sector, I just change the format to declare our class. Okay, so here I use a very primitive way to define the person. Okay, I use introduce the parameter name, not directly introduce a property name. Okay, so here, okay, I just go back to this version to define our class. Okay, having a separate parameter name and also having the property name 啊，我们把参数名称跟属性的名称分开来哈，分2次设定。Okay, so here, yeah. Sometimes we use a var or the var. It depends on you. Okay, if you hope the name can be changed later, you use var. If the name is unique, you can show name is a var. Okay. string name. Okay, the code. Okay, so when we create a %4, we pass the argument. Okay, we pass the name. The name will be assigned to the named property. Okay, and how about the age? Okay, I show the age. Age. Here, we do the checking. When we assign a new value to the age, I want to do the checking, make sure the age is greater than 0, not minus, not negative the value. Okay, so here we need to make sure, do the checking. If age, okay, is greater than 0, okay, then we set the underscore the age to the age, right? Else the value is 0. Okay, so this statement is the if else expression. Okay, so if else can return the value. I think you can easily understand the meaning. Okay, when the underscore the age is less than 0, then we return the 0 to this one. Okay, so the property age will become the 0. Otherwise, so we just want to make sure the value for the age is always greater than 0 啊，所以我们只要保证这个 age 经常都是大于0的。Okay, here I provide this new statement that's called a sector. Okay, let's type the code, and also you can check my slide. 啊，今天我展示一下 sector 的用法啊。value greater than 0. Maybe I just to the line. Field. Okay, so let's check what's the meaning. Okay, here, this syntax is called a sector. Sector is a special function associated to this property. Okay, so here I have age, right? Age is a property. Here we show the set. This means the following is a sector for the age. Sector means when we assign a new value to the age, we need to call the sector function. So what's the value? Value means the new value assigned to the age. Okay, you just consider value is a new value. So I just want to make sure the new value is greater than 0. If that's true, we will assign the new value to the age. So how do we store the new value to the age property? We use the keyword field. Okay, maybe you will feel strange. So what's the field? Actually, field means the storage. Storage means the storage for the age property. Okay, so the meaning is save the value to the age. Okay, so let's try the program code. When will call the sector? Okay, so let's try here. Maybe I can delete the code. We don't need. Try to make our program more simple. Okay, val x, okay, equal to send 4. Okay, upper and 40. Okay, so Robert is a name. Okay, so name will be stored into the named property, and the 40 is the age. So when we construct the object, we will run this statement. Right, 40 will pass to the underscore the age. So the underscore the age is greater than 0. So we will set 40 to the edge. Okay, so we can simply print in the line x dot age. Okay, you can see here the answer is 40. Okay, that's correct. Okay, so here let's try to assign the new value. X dot age is equal to 10. Okay, let's print the age again. So run the code. You will see the answer is 10. That's also correct. Let's try to set a negative value to the age. For example, that's minus 5. Okay. Let's also try to print the age. You will see the answer is not minus 5. Okay. It becomes the original value. Originally, the age is 40. When we try to give the new age, that's minus 5. And you will see we assign a new value to the age. So here we will call the sector. Sector is this function. So value here is a new value. That means minus 5 is a value. Because minus 5 is not greater than 0, so we will not run this program code. Okay, nothing is do here. This means the age, the value will be not change. Okay, so the age will keep the original value 40. 啊，这大家看得懂啊？给一个负的，哎，它就呼叫这个 sector 的这个函数，哎，检查，这不成立啊，所以它的 value 就不会被储存回来。field 就代表这个 age 储存的位置，所以它不会被储存进来，哎，所以它就不会储存到。Okay, so that's how to use a sector to provide the checking. Okay, if we want to assign a value or change the value to the property, we can write the sector the program code to do the input checking. Okay, so having the sector, we also have another that's called a getter. Okay, let's try the example to define the getter. Okay, so here I show the example. The example is just in my slide. Okay, here I want to demo how to define the getter. Okay, suppose here I want to define a new class. This class is called a rectangle. Okay, rectangle. I want to create a rectangle object, and the rectangle will basically contain two property. 这个任何的方形呢，叫做有两个属性。One property called width. Okay, and suppose the data type is int. Okay, and the second property is the length. Data type is also int. Okay, so using this way, we directly show the width and the length. Its parameter also the property name. Okay. Okay. So is the code. Okay. So having the rectangle definition, we can create the rectangle. Suppose rectangle the x. Okay. Rectangle. And here we want to create a rectangle, right? We need to provide two parameter for width and the length. Okay. So suppose that's 10 and 20. Okay. We can run the code. Okay. No ending the error, just a warning. Okay, this warning is quite fine. Okay, so here we define a property, define a class. Okay, so here I want to demo how to use a getter. Okay, here provide area int. Okay, so you can see here rectangle basically contain two property, width and the length. 这两个就是它基本的属性。However, you can see here the next statement show the area. Area is another property, the third property 啊，这个二元面积是它的第三个属性。However, area we don't provide any we don't give the default value, and also we don't provide any the initialization the code block to set the value. Here we use this way, get width times the length. Okay, so here is called a getter. So what's the meaning? I hope rectangle contain the three property. One is width, one is length, and the last one is called the area. I want to compute the area. As you note, how do we compute the area for any rectangle? The formula is by using the width times the length, we can get the area, right? So this means the area, this property is quite different to the width and the length. Width and the length is called a store property. This property can store the value, just like we pass 10 to the width, pass the 20 to the length, right? However, area here is called a computed property. This means the property value, computed property. This value is computed by the getter function. We don't directly assign the value to the computed property 啊，就是计算的属性，它的值是由某一个 getter 的公式算出来的，它不是用一个值直接储存进去啊。OK， so we can try to print line rectangle x area. Okay, I want to retrieve the value. Let's run the code. You can see here that's the 200, correct, right? So when we retrieve the area the value, we will call the getter the function. Okay, so that's I think the idea is quite special for coding. Okay, Java and the C#, I think they don't provide the computed property. Okay， 好，我们先到这里，看各位有没有问题 ？Any question？ 有没有问题 ？Any question？ So next week we talk about we have the I keep the homework 1 right？ 我们不是有给一个作业嘛？其中第3题 exercise 3 is about how to define the rectangle. Oh, sorry. Here. Okay, so after my explanation about how to define the class, maybe you can do this homework. 我想这个应该大家就没问题啊，就是定义一个 rectangle, how to define the rectangle. Okay, so we have two basic property, length and width, and we have two computed property. Okay, one is a perimeter and another is the area. Okay, and also we need to define the member function. So I think that's quite easy to do this exercise. Okay, maybe during the break time you can do this exercise. If you have any question, you can just ask me. Okay, so let's take a short break. 我们暂时休息一下啊，如果有问题，你们这个程式码可以自己先练习一下啊，对照投影片啊，然后打开网页，程式码练习一下。Okay, so you can try to practice some program code. okay, in my slide.